Video review.
You know what that means?
So a lot's been made out of Manhunt 2's supposed goriness. If you're playing on the PS2, you'll see quite a bit of blood and guts. On the Wii, you won't get the full effect. Either way, there's plenty of violence to go around, so rest assured, you'll get your fill of brutality. But it's not just all about entrails. There's a good bit of solid sneaking around to complement all the spurting blood. It's got some issues, but overall, it's pretty satisfying stuff. So you play as Dr. Daniel Lamb, a mental asylum escapee who's trying to piece together his past and get to the bottom of some weird, vast medical experiment called the Project. He's in over his head, struggling with the remaining bits of his sanity, finding out just who the hell he is, and all the while avoiding the watchful eye of the Project's network of hunters. It's a good story, not as shocking or intense as the original Manhunt, though. You get the sense that Danny could just run away at any point. He isn't forced to reveal the truth, so you never get the sense that he has to fight his way out of an impossible circumstance like in the first game. So you'll spend a lot of time in shadows, where you're hidden from enemies. Your best bet is to pick off one guy at a time, and the coolest way to do it is to sneak up behind him and perform an execution move. The longer you hold the execution button, the more brutal the attack. You'll bash dudes on the head with fire extinguishers, set them on fire, stick their heads in toilets, and push them into machines that grind them to a pulp. And on the Wii, you'll simulate these motions with the remote nunchuck. It's awesome and gruesome, and in the PS2 version, you get a pretty good idea of what's going on. A grainy red filter and scratchy black and white filter flash in and out, but a lot of the gore is pretty clear. On the Wii, everything's really blurry, making it tough to tell what's going on, and that's a shame, since it makes these kills less satisfying to pull off. You'll need to get down and dirty from time to time with melee weapons, though, and as long as you have a good crowbar and are facing a single enemy, you should be okay. This should always be a last resort, though. Having two enemies on you almost never ends well, so you're better off running for the shadows again. Manhunt 2 is a tough game, and it's not going to forgive your mistakes, so you've got to be all sorts of patient. But it means when you are successful, you get rewarded with an execution animation, which is a pretty nice reward. You'll also use firearms, and the shooting is decent, though it isn't as viscerally exciting as smashing a guy's head in with a table saw. A headshot is an instant kill, and makes blood spurt from the guy's neck like a fountain. Since Danny is no gun-toting criminal, it makes sense that he's not all that good with a weapon, but the targeting never feels all that tight. There are some issues. The artificial intelligence will go really wonky sometimes, making characters get stuck between objects and forcing you to get their attention so that they'll move. Sometimes they'll run right past you without even noticing you, even when you're in broad daylight. They're also terrible shots, so many bullets will go whizzing right past your head, and they'll spend a lot of time shooting at bare walls for no apparent reason. The Wii Remote also makes things tough sometimes because the A button does so much stuff. If you happen to be standing on top of a body when you try to pull off an execution, you'll pick up the body instead, which will probably lead to your own bloody demise. The PS2 version comes out on top, but both are worth playing if you like sneaking around in video games. Manhunt 2 doesn't quite reach the heights of the grisly, horrifying original, but it's still a good game in its own right, with a high gross-out factor and some tense stealth action to back it up. It's got its issues, but if kicking a dude in the balls and then disemboweling him with a crowbar is your idea of gaming fun, you should check it out.